Frog God, Frog God.
Hi, Frog God fans. Welcome. We're going to be doing a Bard's Gate tonight. Above me is Brandon Powers. He's going to be our GM. Hey, Brandon.
Howdy, howdy. Yep, I pulled a short straw, so I get to be in charge of the madhouse for the night.
Sounds
Thank
awesome to
you.
me. Thank you. I'm one of your new tadpoles along with Brandon. I am Alice, and below me we have Vowels, aka Steven. Hi, Vowels.
Hello, everyone.
And below him we have John Hook, author and player tonight.
Hello.
And everyone knows the Pex down below him. Hi, Pex.
Hello.
We're going to be doing character creation tonight for Bard's Gate.
So, Bart's Gate is in eastern Akados, and it's a very metropolitan area. Has a lot of different races, has a big crafting community, both magical and non-magical. Lots of trade comes through here. There's a high population of elves and dwarves in the city. You guys are going to be either people who have been here before but aren't, you're going to be first level, so you are somebody who's probably fairly poor and looking to just kind of make their way in the world, or you'll be somebody who's traveling here looking to make their way. But one way or another, you're going to end up in the poor section outside of the town itself. Is pretty much where we're going to pick up. So. It's you guys are the ones with the opening questions and talking to each other about what you all want to make.
Well, for me, I was having this image of a very scrawny kid, almost with a really huge bulbous nose that the rest of the body and head just doesn't fit into. I was thinking of being, an arcane type of some sort, or alchemist or something like that, with the way that I had him imagined in my head, with a very nasally voice. So, but that's one of my options right now. What are other people thinking about?
So I'm thinking of a half-elf cleric, spy background. He works with the queen and I cannot remember the name of the forest that's just to the east of Bard's Gate. But basically, I'm just kind of a person implanted in the area, and I'm also going to play a cleric of Solanus.
Cool. John, what about you? What are you interested in?
I like spellcasters. I want to be a magic user, but I see him as following a school that uh, has emphasis on alcohol and potion making. So sort of like um, Drunken Fist, except for magic.
Okay. And Pex, what's your off the top of the head?
I was thinking about a gnome druid who's very confused about the forest of mankind and elves who seem to live in these building forest structures and just very confused about it all.
Sounds really cool. So it sounds like actually with John wanting to be a magic user, I'm going to default over to one of my other concepts. So why don't we
Well,
get started? Uh-huh.
Alice, I don't know fifth edition very well, which is what we're going to be playing. But one of the fighter builds is the Eldritch Knight. So
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I could be the scrawny squire. It certainly fits the image because he's very scrawny with a huge nose and small head, so he's very much not filling into that. I was thinking also that for his history, that he's been kind of this little errand boy for a rat folk merchant that's in town in city. And so that's something that would be my jumping off point, that's someone I've been basically being a little errand boy for, but I've got some talents elsewhere. But maybe I'm trying to get in as a squire or something, or have something like that. I can look at that.
or you could go with that same thing as the rogue, and
Yeah, I'm not so interested in playing a rogue at the moment. But why don't we get started on rolling some dice on character, you know, on these stats, and then I'll see what my stats say, and maybe I'll play around with that. Being
All right, so it's
that
going to
perfect.
be 46, drop lowest of them, and you get to arrange them as you want. So why doesn't each person go ahead and roll their 6 and then give it over to the next person, basically?
Okay.
So
So
just as a reminder, when you're rolling 46, you can grab your 6-sided die and then do a right click 3 times to add 3 more dice.
yes, you can
Yep.
also choose to actually do a die expression and make it so that you are only keeping 3 automatically. So that's what I'm going to be doing is die 46, keep 3. And there we go, that's
I
14.
I accidentally closed my character sheet. How do I
Simply
get it back?
go up to your, I believe you were green, go up to the green and click it, and you should open your character sheet again. And I believe that should be my 6 rolls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Alice,
I'm
6.
that is
red.
the best set of stats that I have ever seen you generate.
I know, that's really cool. Okay, well, I guess I'm average in a lot of things.
No, you are well
Well,
above average.
True, I'm well above
No
average. I'm
10s
14.
in there.
Yeah, there's no 10s. I'm well above average in everything. Based on my image, though, I think strength is probably going to be my 13, and dex being my 13.
I think that and this is one of the joys of rolling is that your image adjusts after you see what came out of there. So
That's true. Okay, so next person. Steven, why don't you go ahead?
Well, since I don't know how to do the expression, I'm just going to roll 46 and work that way.
So to do the expression, all you have to do is /DIE space 4d6k3. And then
What?
/die, DIE, space
But where do
4d6
you put that?
into the chat box. And whenever you need to do it again, just Alt up, and you can do it over and over and over again. So you don't need to type the thing over and over, just need to Alt up.
Space
Steve,
/ die
she took
space.
I've got it written out, but with a period in the front. She took all the dice karma with her, man.
No, it's all good. This one gives me something to go and work with.
Yeah.
Yeah. John, what about you?
So I do. Do I need to copy that?
Um,
So I wrote the thing. Oh, does
so
it
just
allow
write
to
the
copy?
thing out without the period, and there you go. And then just hit Alt up, and it'll keep just populating that again, so you don't have to retype it.
Alt up. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, that
And
was
then
good.
hit Enter. Yep. Nice and quick.
Can't see some of these dice.
Oh my.
How many did I roll?
4.
4 so far.
How many do I need? 6?
6.
You need 6, yes.
And that should be it, right?
Yep.
Yes.
I don't know which ones are mine. Oh, those that say
Yep.
my name.
Yes,
And then
they
do
say.
I hand type the numbers in the...
Into your character sheet, yes.
Okay. And then I already dropped my race. Steven said that the
Or
race, if I did the race too early, it might adversely affect the thing, or
if
can I delete the race?
you can basically just mod it up manually afterwards, just add the
Okay.
add the racial mods afterwards.
And as a human, I think you're going to need to make a pick on what your mods are, anyways.
Okay.
Yes. And Pex, what about you?
Doesn't want to roll. Fun, I guess.
Ho!
Nice. Top stat of the night.
Should be done.
Awesome.
Yep.
So yeah, I think I might go human. Adjusting my image a bit, I think I might be a little bit stronger than I was in the initial image, but I'm still gonna have that. I think I'm gonna still have that. I'm not quite grown into my nose look. Yeah, so I think charisma is gonna be my lowest stat. I'm still above average on charisma. Apparently, I look decent other than my gnomish almost nose, except I'm human. Brandon, do you mind if I possibly take some negative on my rolls here?
You get what you rolled,
Okay.
and that's the character that you should be working with.
Sure
That's
thing. That's fine with me.
definitely the old school approach on it. So.
I agree with that. Heck, if we want to go all down the row, I can work with that as well.
I was tempted that maybe if we were going to roll stats to do that.
Well, if we're
But,
gonna do all down that
I
row.
figured that letting you guys rearrange and such
Mhm.
is all good.
Okay.
Too much mercy.
Oh, don't worry. You have next time when I GM, I'll give you less mercy. How's that? Although I'm usually the nicer of the two GMs between us, theoretically.
Promises.
Can I change the size of the character sheet, make it bigger?
Yes.
Yeah, the font's super small.
Oh,
Lower right hand side, but the sheet will get bigger, but your
But the
fields won't.
the font stays the same.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna change characters with that information, with the stats I have. We have a gnome. We have an elf. I heard. John, you're human?
I'm human.
Yeah, a gnome, an elf, and a human is what I've heard, and then Alice is currently undecided.
I'm actually a half elf.
Oh, okay.
I think I need a list of gods then. So, other than Ogma, what are the common gods in this area?
What alignment?
I'm probably looking at lawful good or neutral good.
This is a 9-point alignment.
Yes, 9-point alignment.
How do I remove something in the sheet if I've dragged it over already?
You manually clear the things that they've added.
I tried to do that for race, but there was still that little dragon head or whatever icon, and it still said human on it. So
yeah, I think that if you drag a new dragon head into there, that it will change it, but I don't know.
I believe it does most of the time. So I'm going to go with being a mountain dwarf, which seems to fit the region that we are in.
That's a good choice.
I think I want to be a Gish, Brandon. I think I'm going to go with the Gish.
So you are going to go with the Eldritch Knight fighter, or is there a different way that you're approaching that?
I think I'm going to go with the Eldritch Knight fighter.
You could be the barbarian, John. You could just have a 20 strength, John. This is not to John that's actually here, but an old friend of Alice's and I, that he'd always come and he'd be like, I've got this great character concept, and then you go, but you know what you could do?
True story. So, Brandon, where did you see that Eldritch Knight?
It is in the player's handbook under fighter. I really have no further information other than that, but I did know that it was there. Okay. I have not really played 5e very much. I ran Alice and a very good friend of ours through a little sample session. Really, it was a short amount of role playing and then kind of an extended combat that we did just to see what we thought of the system. Mm-hmm. And other than that, that's when the book first came out. I haven't done any, so.
Yeah.
I read up on the rules before this, so hopefully I remember those.
Should be fun. So everybody's got their race, their class, and then they should probably look at their background, I think.
Yes, I'm going in right now to.
And equipment, get your weapons if that's important to you, your armor if that's important to you, and other than that, you guys are going to have that standard adventuring gear. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time looking for equipment and such, and if you're like, oh, that would be something my character should have right now, that would seem like a great way to do it.
What are people looking at for their backgrounds?
Outlander.
John, what about you?
I don't know what a background is. I mean, is
backgrounds
that something I need to
background is going to give you some traits, some abilities and such. So if you take Sage, for example, you're going to get the skills Arcana and History. And then you're going to get 2 languages of your choice. So each background, if you go and click the background button, you will go
I found it.
Awesome. And you choose one background. And I'm trying to decide right now between Gladiator and Guild Merchant.
There's a guild artisan, John. I'm flipping through them in the book itself. That's, one way that you might be, alchemical.
I think I'm going to go with guild merchant. Since we are not worrying about gear, I'm ready to play. I just need a name.
Where do my spells go?
They should be actually, I think, under actions.
Actions.
So I don't see a class of magic user. So what type of spell?
Oh, you would be a wizard or sorcerer.
Magic user would convert over to wizard.
Yes.
Sorcerers, are They're similar. I don't know the full differences between them. And then warlocks are they've made a pact with some sort of extra dimensional entity and become empowered because of that. But if you're looking at the closest conversion to that first edition magic user, that's going to be wizard.
And now it says select skills. Choose 2 skills from the list below, which your character will become proficient.
Yes.
So Arcana is, I guess if I click on the dragon head, that'll tell me. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yep. And so you're going to click 2 of those, and then your background that we were talking about is going to give you 2 more. So go and check what your background's already given you so you don't...
Insight and Persuasion if you went with Guild Artisan.
Awesome.
I did do Guild Artisan. Did do those automatically?
If you dragged it over, it should have.
It should have.
I did.
Awesome.
Oh, all right. So Insight and Persuasion have little stars.
Yep.
Brandon, would you so kindly go through the assets and look for a male dwarven fighter, please? My character's name is Thorad Uthanar, son of Arterix.
Oh my lord.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, don't worry. So how can we help, John? Part of this is to show people, who want to get into this. So,
quick question, Alice. Should I go to Pathfinder or D&D 5e and look for this?
Either way works for me. Let's go with 5e to start with.
Okay.
So,
somehow
John,
I've made myself 2nd level. Well, I closed the, because I got sidetracked with the background having 2 skills. I closed the skills that I was supposed to choose from for wizard 1st level. So I thought, well, maybe if I drag wizard again, it'll reopen the thing. But then it made me 2nd level. So now I'm a 2nd level wizard.
Brandon can go into your character and fix it for you. Brandon, why are you giving me a female character portrait? I mentioned that
because I thought that character portrait was awesome.
It is a cool character. Okay, fine. I'll change to a female character. I will change to a female character. We'll keep with a female dwarf.
So now it's Thoradia.
I thought that Brandon would appreciate Uthanar's son.
I'll give you a male. That was just the first one that came up, and I'm like, that's awesome.
No, that's pretty cool. I think that I agree with that being very cool. Give me a second to think up the name. So, okay. Brandon can go into your character sheet and assist you. Brandon, would you mind doing so? Okay, cool.
He's Wizard 1 again.
Awesome.
So I found a list. It's not the drag and drop list, so I can just punch if I tap the
stars. Yes.
The stars, it'll do it. So what is Arcana? What is Medicine? Insight? Insight I already have. If I do Insight again, does it make it higher?
No.
This is why I said don't double up.
Oh, okay. I missed that. Investigation, what does that do?
It's when you're going and searching and investigating stuff. They changed it from searching. So if you're going into a room and you're trying to find out what is in the room, if there's secrets in it and such like that, you'd be using investigation. If you are passively looking around, that would be perception, or even not passively, but just looking around rather than hands in active, you would be perception. Arcana is obviously, understanding magic and such like that.
You can hit the dragons that are at the far right, and it will bring up a real quick thing about that skill also.
That's true.
Okay.
There you go. So yeah, Brandon, since you gave me the male portrait, I went back to Thorad.
Okay.
And I'm trying to find the perfect voice that will not hurt my throat at the end of the night. But that's what a gallon of tea by my side is also for.
What are we doing for hit points?
Max 1st level.
So I have a name, I have a class and level. I have a prof of +2. I have a background of guild artisan. I have a race. I have abilities. I don't have senses, or maybe I do. I have a PERC of 9 or 9+. I'm not sure what that is. I have some saving throws that I think are accurate. I have an armor class of 12.
Brandon, are we rolling for money or are we getting max money to start with?
Go ahead and roll for money.
Okay, that sounds good. So for fighter, I get 5d4 times 10. So this one, I'm going to grab this, and as you can see, I'm just right-clicking and dropping that onto chat. And Thorad has 13, so that's 130 gold that I start with. That's not bad.
Is Gidney Pex, by the way?
Oops.
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Let's see. Down at the bottom, HD hit dice, and it shows a black square. So is that a 6-sided die?
Yes, that would be a 6-sided die.
Yep.
So I type in a 6 for hit points.
No, your hit points should already be listed. Go up above it, and you'll see 3 boxes, and you'll see max. It should have a number for you.
Okay.
It's automated. It's fancy like that.
So
Sorry. Go ahead.
How many spells do I have, and how do I get spells?
You have 3 cantrips.
Thank you.
Plus
Found the chart.
your... So 3 cantrips.
Modifier plus your wizard level.
And then the wizard level plus whatever your modifier is for your intelligence. Is how many first level.
Holy cow. Wait a second.
I guess same question on spells for Druid.
Oh, okay.
All right, so my abilities
Druid,
all got changed.
Druid will be your level plus your mod for number first level spells.
So 4.
Plus,
okay.
And then you have 2 cantrips.
2 cantrips. Okay. Now, do I have access to the spell list, or do I have access to just 4 spells total?
You have access to the spell list. For you, druids are a memorization at prayer time. For John, it's going to be that he has to... I believe he chose wizard, so he's going to be working out of a book of limited spells.
So, Pex, you'll need to drag those whatever number of first level spells over, and those are what you have memorized for right now. So you have... let's say that you have a 16 stat. So you have a plus 3. So you have 3 plus 1 for your level. So you'd have 4 spells, and you'd have 4 first level spells that you could choose. Then at a long rest, you could change all of those spells around to anything else you want out of the book. Whereas John, he's going to be limited to what he has in his book to go and choose from. So John, once you go and figure out those spells that you have, you're going to have to go and limit that to memorizing 2 of them.
Okay.
And again, how do I get rid of something once I've added it? Backspacing appears not to work.
Where are you adding it? Where did you add it to? Brandon, can you go and help him, please, since you're able to access his character sheet? Thank you.
What are we looking for?
If it's a spell, you can right-click on it. Right-click on it and delete.
Trash can, thank you.
That is a large amount of the functionality throughout is that it will be, if you're wondering about that, right-click and go delete.
It works very well on that. Another note, guys, on the character sheets, you'll notice on every tab, almost every tab, there is in the lower right-hand corner an edit list, and you can always go to click that edit list, and then on each of the items on that sheet, on that page, you'll see a little round circle, red round circle with a vertical line. If you click that, it gives you the opportunity to delete it. So that's another way to go mass delete.
So, what kind of weapon limitations do I have?
You can use daggers, darts, slings, quarterstaffs, and light crossbows. So it's pretty similar, I think, to first edition, except crossbows. I don't believe were on there back then.
So they still haven't added like short sword, so you could be a Gandalf.
Nope.
If you took a level in fighter, though, then you could pick up short sword and long sword, and you could do it that way, and then you'd be very much like Gandalf.
That's all right. I mean, I'll go like this.
Are you a male or a female half-elf, by the way?
Male.
And no armor, correct?
Correct. All right. I threw up character portraits for everybody. If you don't like them, we can find something else. But I was just kind of going through without knowing anything about your character and trying to find something appropriate.
I can work with that.
Thank you very much.
I like the fan kind of blowing my hair. It's very dramatic. I think that it fits my 14 charisma.
It could be a Fabio cover,
Exactly.
Well, I went from a puny little mouse of a character to a stout dwarven fighter with an 18 strength and a 16 con.
A miniature mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you stuck with the, he's little, but it changed from, being a pipsqueak human to just being, I'm a dwarf.
Yep. I'm still gonna have an extra large nose, just because that was stuck in my head last night. So I figure I'll stick with that extra large nose.
You might have some gnome in you. Though they don't, 5th edition gnomes do not seem to have that anymore.
No, 5th edition gnomes definitely do not have that. For those people that are done with their characters, do people want to talk about their backgrounds a little bit? Brandon, do you want to session
Tell
zero
me a
us
little bit about Thorad.
Oh, you're going to start with me first. Okay.
You spoke up. You got volunteered by your own mouth.
Sure. So I was thinking that I came from a clan or a stronghold that's in the nearby mountains, and I don't see the stronghold being one of those destroyed strongholds, but that we've been under siege by the gnolls and similar things, similar to the Bard's Gate, and so through that we came to an alliance, and I've been coming down as basically a caravan guard regularly to protect goods that we've been trading between Bard's Gate and the stronghold that I come from. And for some reason, the stronghold that I come from in my head, unless someone has a better one, is cornerstone. I just keep thinking cornerstone right now. So if you want to give it a different one, that's fine with me. But
You're totally fine, Alice.
But I'm going to be basically, a caravan guard. I have some understanding of merchant stuff. I am from the merchant guild.
So why did you fall out with the merchant guild? Because you used to be a guild merchant, and now you are a guard. So why the fallout?
Well, it's not that I fell out in my, but more
so we're gonna play the no butt game.
Well, I didn't see myself as really falling out, but the fact that I'm actually starting to get into the guild merchant aspect more, but primarily I was starting off as a guard, and because of my traveling back and forth and dealing with the merchants here and taking stuff back, I ended up joining the Merchants Guild as a result of me coming and doing the guard initially. So.
Okay. And so where's that down on your luck kind of aspect that I was talking about coming in? Because you sound like you're on your up and up, and you have your own business that you're going to be attending to rather than becoming a sack of meat and murder person.
So what I was looking at for that was, as I said, the alliance between my stronghold and Bard's Gate came through the fact that we've also been getting assaulted by gnolls and such, and I would think that the majority of the business that I was involved with went bust recently during some major attacks from gnolls, and therefore I am now, pretty much broke and in trouble, and I probably owe someone some money because their goods never made it somewhere.
Okay. Did you pick your trait, your ideal, your bond, and your flaw?
No, I did not. Why don't you move on to somebody else while I do that?
Sure, page 133 if you're using the print copy. So how about Bellamere? Is that right?
So Bellamere is a spy, and so he grew up in the Forest Kingdoms, and so he's basically working for Queen Tular, who is in the Forest Kingdoms, and so his role here is to basically keep tabs on Bard's Gate and what's going on. Now, the Forest Kingdoms is an ally of Bard's Gate, and so it's all in good spirit, good faith, but at the same time, they're humans here, and the Great King or the Forest Kingdom is an elven realm. So I'm here. I'm seeing what's going on, and I'm just keeping tabs on what's going on within, and trying to go and make sure that our ally is in good shape. With that in mind, let's see what we've got going.
So you said you were going with spy for your background. In my PHB, I'm not seeing that. I don't mind if it comes from somewhere else by any means. But what should I be looking for?
It should be in the player's handbook under spy, under backgrounds. So basically what that gives me is...
criminal. There we go.
Yes. So I do have a little bit of I have some criminal background in a sense, but only for the greater good. So I have a bit of stealth. I can pick locks if necessary, but it's not something that I'm going to admit to. And and I blend in well.
Cool. Did you pick your personality trait, your ideal, your bond, and your flaw?
I did not, but I am a cleric of Solanus, so that makes me a cleric of light, and so that puts me in that direction. I definitely heal. Solanus is a god of healing and light, and so it's a really good choice for adventurers. And I think at one point I remember reading that at some point 8 out of 10 adventurers were clerics of Solanus in the old days. So I would imagine that was back in Bill Webb's campaign, that was probably the case.
Never hurts to have a little bit of healing. Yeah.
So I'll work on my flaws.
Yeah, and the reason I'm asking about those, the ideal, the bond, and the flaw, D&D 5e has inspiration, and so those are supposed to be ways that you will get inspiration, is by fulfilling some aspect of that. And so I'm trying to use inspiration and remember, and so... what about Gidney?
Well, Gidney comes from the forest, probably somewhere nearby, and he's just mainly curious about the human forest, which is really a city. He's just been fascinated ever since he was a small child. He carries around a basket with him with stones that he names after other people he comes across of interest.
Is this a constant thing with you, a relationship with a rock?
Rocks are very important, I'll have you know. They tell you things.
Cultural significance.
Mm-hmm. He's just finally gotten up the nerve to go visit the human elven forest, and he's gonna see where that takes him.
Okay, and Gidney, what's your alignment?
It's 9 scale, right? So true neutral.
Bellamere?
Neutral good.
Thorad?
Neutral good, leaning towards lawful good.
And then last we have Krieg. Tell me a little bit about Krieg.
So Krieg is he studies drunken alchemy and is a spellcaster that they specialize in potion making and doing potions, but they also have just spell casting, and he has to work up, I think, work his way up to getting into the art of alcohol. He's just beginning this life of drinking and spell casting.
Okay, so you by all means, the mountain dwarfs kind of coming. They've got a merchant background. The gnome is just kind of exploring. The elf is here on a mission. You're kind of like that D&D adventurer that you have the way that your life seems to be going, and you're going to be going out to try and do things to make it happen, which is drinking and using spells to study.
Right. I mean, for the drunken spellcasters, the life is just a giant pub crawl. I'm going to be chaotic good, but I don't know where to put my alignment. And then I heard somebody say something about cantrips. Do I have cantrips or no? Indeed. I pulled 2 spells. And
yes, you'll have cantrips as well. I believe you have. Oh shoot, I forgot how many. I'd have to go look at the chart. Hold on.
3.
Thank you, 3. I wanted to say 3, but I was like, am I wrong?
So I went into tables, and there's bonds, flaws, ideals, and origins. Do I need all 3 based off my background, like for Outlander, or what?
You don't need to have any of them based off of your background. These are suggestions, but you can make them up for what fits you. So I made up I made up most of mine, going through and just thinking about mine. But it has to fit within those categories. You each have to have them set up.
So I just so you can.
Yeah, I was gonna take them all, I guess.
Okay.
Well, you get one personality, one flaw, one whatever. So you get one of each of them.
You have to do one of each personality traits. A distinguishing personality trait, an ideal, at least one ideal, and you can add more as we play, bonds, and at least one flaw right now. So Brandon, I have mine if you would like me to give them to you.
Hi, Alice. What do you got?
So for personality traits, I fancy myself a bit of a storyteller of war, and just because I don't know the things that the book knowledge people know doesn't mean I don't know nothing.
Okay, lore of war.
Well, yeah, it's that, and he likes to tell stories even if he doesn't necessarily have knowledge to back it up, like, some people. Um, the
By
story
the
that
way, if
his
you're
father
looking
and
for a
grandfather
voice
told him.
that's not going to hurt your a voice, that is not it. Because I've heard you do that voice before, and that does hurt your voice.
I'm gonna see and try, figure it out. So for ideals, I'm looking at. I took it off the list. Generosity. And I kind of wanted to, straddle generosity and community. That the idea of the bond of community and such. So I think I'm gonna do generosity dash community. Being my thing. For bonds, I have my stronghold, my merchant company at the moment, and we'll see if the characters end up landing there as well. And for flaws, I can't turn down a dare. That's what I have so far. Given the image I have in my head, I have a couple other possible flaws depending on how it plays out, and I will inform you whenever they come up.
Okay. Bellamere, have you had a chance to go through?
I have. I don't pay attention to the risks in a situation, so don't tell me the odds. I'm loyal to my friends, not to any ideals. And everyone else can take a trip down the river Styx for all I care. Someone I love died because of a mistake I made, and that will never happen again. And finally, if there's a plan, I'll forget it. If I don't forget it, I'll ignore it.
There you go.
So that's been covered. If the plan is heal me, just remember the person's going to ignore it. So.
Unless you're going to die, and then we'll see what we can do, because I don't want that to happen again.
But bum. That's funny. Okay.
The question that we're all waiting to find the answer to is, did they die because you forgot the plan?
Well, there could be that.
Could be. We'll find out during play. How's that?
Gidney, do you have yours figured out?
Sort of. I'm supposed to select one off this list, yeah?
You don't have to. You don't have to select it off the list. I didn't. You have to make up your own to fit it. I did not select off my list.
Well, sure. I'm driven by wanderlust that'll lead me away from home. That makes perfect sense for my trait.
Awesome.
My flaw.
You think you're rock?
Yeah, there's no room for caution if life is lived to the fullest, I guess. Origin. I guess I'm a nomad, and then ideal changes like life, like the seasons, constant change. We must change with it, and then bond. There's only 2. No, there's 6. It says, but scroll wheel maybe. Well, it looks like there's more, but I can only read one. It's my duty to provide children to sustain my tribe. So apparently, I'm also looking for children. Yeah.
You can make your own bonds up by all means.
Yeah, you can make
your own children up by all means.
You can make all for all 4
the
of those.
Rocks are my children, thank you. I'm watching after them.
You can make up all 4 of those categories on your own. The book is just a little inspiration to help you along. So, I believe then we're up to John for the last one, right, Brandon?
Yes, and hold on just a second.
Sure
John,
thing.
what alignment are you going with?
Chaotic good.
Okay.
So where can I access and see traits?
I linked in Discord the sample for the Guild Artisan, so it should have the different options that you're looking at.
Again, these are samples. You can come up with
Yep.
it based off the personality of your character and the history of your character.
It's under tables in the library thing, just so everybody knows.
Ah, thank you.
Awesome.
But I didn't like... Val, who's the rock god?
One god of
You're
rock.
the rock god, Pax.
Baub.
Is it? Okay.
Vowels is the god, is the rock god. Is that what I heard?
EOWBE.
Ah, okay.
Let me go look it up really quick.
By the way, something I found out about in Lost Lands, I was looking around and looking at gods. A a god in the Lost Lands has my old character's name, Barator, and I was super surprised to see it. The god absolutely fits who he was, and I just was totally blown away when I ran into that the other day.
I'm looking through the list of gods myself to try and figure out what god my character would be likely to be more interested in. Oh, John.
Texas alignment. Was he chaotic good?
True neutral.
No, he was true neutral. True neutral.
John,
Yes.
a god you may be interested in would be the god of ale and spirits, who is chaotic good, and symbol is a beer barrel suspended from a pole, so Pekko is his name.
Pekko was his name.
Spell that.
P-E-K-K-O.
P-E-K-K-O. It's going to go sideways pretty quick if we keep this up.
Oh, yeah. It definitely is.
Oh my gosh, I changed like 6 shades of red. Okay, but yes, Pekko is your god.
See, and I was so much more simple because I was like, Pekko, 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 Pekko. But, that was better.
At least I got John his god.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. It seemed very in line with what you do and such, so I don't think you could get more in line with your character on that.
And then, once John's got that, if people have their spells and the little bit of equipment that they need, then I think that we're pretty good.
Okay, I think I'm good.
Okay, what are your 4 things?
That was a good length. Thank you, Brandon. Okay.
Happy to help.
So, all right. So my alignment is chaotic good. My deity is Pekko, god of ale and spirits. My personality trait, I like to talk at length about my profession, more so after I'm deep into my cups. My ideals are freedom. Everyone should be free to follow and do what their heart desires. Bonds, I owe my guild a great debt for forging me into the person I am today. And my flaw is I'm horribly jealous of anyone who can outdrink me. I'm currently a lightweight, but I'm working on it.
Hey Frog God fans, thank you so much for watching us today. Do you want to see more content? Make sure you subscribe and click that little bell button to be notified.
Don't forget to leave a comment about the content that you want to see on the channel. And if you want to keep up with Frog God Game releases, check out the links in the description below for Facebook, Twitter, and Discord.
And if you want to see more content from Brandon and myself, check us out on Babies with Knives podcast, where we focus on character creation, crash courses, and actual plays for a wide variety of tabletop role-playing games.
And everybody, remember, have fun in the pond.